Hi, my name's Mark. I was really privileged and honoured to be doing this Take 10 for Southside. I went to Southside for 18 years with my dad Brian, my mum Shan, and my sister Lisa. Um, Over kind of lockdown period, I've been thinking about just how God's completely changed my life, how He completely transformed it, um, and just His build up and His plan for that. Yeah, so here we go. My childhood was a bit different to my other friends in the way that some of the stuff I went through wasn't really relatable. I couldn't really talk to anyone my own age about it, or kind of anyone I knew of about it actually. When I was about 12, or just about to turn 13, my family kind of experienced quite a traumatic loss. When my mum decided to take her own life, she was suffering from depression for a while. For all I knew, she was kind of just quite ill because I didn't really understand it. I didn't really know much about mental health at all, or depression, and kind of it just overcame her. It was a really scary time and it was really confusing. It was pretty horrible. But yeah, like the amount of support we got from our family and our friends and just the church was just amazing. It really was phenomenal. But like after that, I was still going to church, but I didn't really see past the social side of it. I was just going along. Didn't really listen, didn't really think much of it other than I'd meet my friends. But yeah, about 2 years later, I became really ill. I suffered from this extremely rare blood disease. The doctors had never actually seen it before or anything like it. The more they researched into it, it got rarer and rarer, to the point where I may have been the only one who had it, or anything like it. But it really affected my immune system, and basically I got a lot of treatment like chemo and steroids. It really affected my head, and like my physical, like my body swole up, and so did my face. I looked like a balloon. But I eventually did get better, but I missed a lot of my time at school, a lot of my education, and it happened at the most important time, or one of the most important times of my life, in the way that I was in fourth year doing exams, things like that, and I was just absent for the last kind of 3 important years of school. Yeah, so at the end of school, I actually really resented God in the way that I just looked at him. You've put me in this situation. Like you've left me with nothing. You've left me looking and feeling like a failure. Like I didn't have any of the qualifications I wanted or anything to kind of get me on anything I wanted to do. So yeah, a lot of my friends were going to uni, doing apprenticeships, doing college, and I didn't really have any thoughts because I was just like, what can I do? But I eventually found a course called marine engineering. It was like basically working from college, getting paid, learning how to fix engines, learn all the kind of mechanics of it. It was really interesting. So I was just like, yeah, let's go for that. And also involved two sea phases, which would be out working on a ship. Yeah, so kind of did that. The first couple of years were like kind of practical, doing like kind of doing skills and things like welding and stuff. Also kind of theory things like doing like physics, learning about thermodynamics and all sorts. I never thought I could do any of that, and I managed. and so basically after the 2 years, it came to the time where I was ready to go to sea, do the off or on the job training. It was about April when everyone went off, and I hadn't gone off yet. A lot of my friends had gone like offshore, so they were doing like a month on, and then a couple of weeks back home, and then a month on again, and then that about 4 times. Whereas I knew I was going to be doing 4 months because my company were global, so they went all over the world. So their ships would go all over. So like I knew I'd be away for a fair amount of time. So it came to about June when I got told. But I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what to expect really. But I got a call on Monday, like in June at some point, to say, right, you're going away Friday, and you're going to South Korea, and make sure you're ready. And I remember getting that call and putting the phone down and just absolutely freaking out. Like I was alone in the house, I couldn't breathe. Like I was really freaking out, and it was horrible. And then it came to the night before I was gonna go, and I was just, I don't know if I can do this. Like this anxiety is too much for me. I don't know if I can go. I went round to my auntie and uncle's to say goodbye, which I didn't really want to say goodbye. And my uncle gave me this card, and it's the 20 cans of success, and it just has has 20 verses on it. Just really just amazing verses. And I went home and I read the first one. It said, "Why should I say I can't when the Bible says I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength?" Philippians 4 verse 13. And I was just like, wow. And I just felt so calm, and I was just like, right, I'm going. Like, I'll go. And before I'd thought of the worst case scenarios, like what if nobody on board is doing the same thing as me? What, as in like doing the same course? What if I get seasick? What if the crew don't speak English? What if it's unbearably hot in the engine room? Like, how am I gonna cope? Like doing the work. But yeah, but when I read that verse, like I was just so calm. Like I was just like, right, I'm going. So I went, and all those kind of worst case scenarios did sort of happen. I went there, and when I got to South Korea, obviously the letters and the numbers are different, and it just was like, whoa, how do I get around? I managed to navigate my way around the airport and out it to where my agent was, and I managed to find him, and he was like, oh, RB Ariana, which was the name of my ship. So I was like, yeah, that's him. He couldn't really say anything else in English or speak any other English, other than nodding his head to me every time I spoke. But yeah, we went in his taxi, went away, which I thought we were going to the ship, and we stopped, and he got out of the car and vanished. I looked around me, and we were parked on a live railway. I was just like, oh no, this can't be good. And I really was like, this is it. Luckily, he came back and we went on. Another worst case scenario that I thought did happen was nobody really was doing the same thing as me. Nobody was on there learning either. Like it was just me. Also, nobody spoke English apart from a couple out of 20. And the engine room was so hot, like it was 45, 46 degrees at one point, and I was in a boiler suit the whole time. It was crazy. But although those bad things happened, I absolutely loved it. loved loved doing it, loved doing the work. It was great. But about 3 weeks in, I became really ill. I lost a lot of weight. I started losing a lot of blood. Some days I'd stand up and it was unbearable. Like I couldn't stand up. Like, I passed out straight away. But I pushed it and pushed it. Like, I just kept going and going because I knew if I came home, that would be it. I wouldn't be able to do that career anymore. My plan would be scunnered. I wouldn't be able to do it at all. Like, I'd fail the medical to ever go back out again. And I did come home because it was stupid me being there. I pushed it for another 3 weeks, but I was just like, right, I need to come home. I came home, like, I got the treatment. I was better, like, it was phenomenal. But I didn't feel that way. I just felt like such a failure. I felt so doom and gloom, like I was distraught. It was actually scary how negative I was feeling, and scary the thoughts I was thinking. But I went, so like I wasn't thinking of God or anything, like he was the last thing in my mind, but my friend Jordan, he asked me to come to Rehope in Glasgow, and I was just like, nah, no chance, I'm not even getting out of the house, like, no. But he eventually convinced me, and I went up for prayer, and I came, like, I wasn't singing any of the worship, like I wasn't listening to the prayer, I wasn't listening to the sermon, but when I went up for prayer, I came away from it like feeling this overwhelming peace. I couldn't possibly explain it as anything other than God. I was completely filled by the Holy Spirit. Everything I thought was negative, like, was now positive. Like, I had no reason to be happy, like, in my mind, but like I was, and it was just unnatural and a supernatural spirit. All the negatives were turned into positives. When I thought about my mum passing away in that traumatic experience, I thought, well, I've actually helped so many people after by talking to them about it, talking about mental health, talking about my experiences, and just saying what I've had to deal with. By being ill, I've shown, like, in the past, like, I've just been shown so much love and kindness from the church and from Southside and from other churches that I didn't know were praying and for me and things when I was ill. When I was at sea, God gave me the strength to do things that I thought were unimaginable, things that I thought it was going to be impossible to do. I just feel this peace that radiates through my whole life. Yeah, I'm just going to read this last verse quickly because I realise my time's really up. But I basically read a verse on the 20 cans of success when I came home from that night, and it says, why should I be depressed when I recall to mind God's loving kindness, compassion, and faithfulness, and have hope? And I just thought that was so true. Like, God does all these crazy things that you just don't think are going to benefit you, and you just don't see how this is part of your plan, but it really is. So yeah, that's all I just wanted to say, but God bless.